Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Chris Weidenbar, and joining us today from the Australian Army is Corporal Jeanette McNeely. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. We acknowledge the members of RSL and Services Clubs Association, RSL Victoria and RSL Queensland who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the pool of reflection by visitors and by students on behalf of the following schools. From Victoria, Porapunka Primary School, Porapunka, Harrietville Primary School, Harrietville, and Wandillagong Primary School, Wandillagong. I now ask all in attendance to please stand for the National Anthem. Thank you. Students, you may be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway lands. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 102,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the pool of reflection.
Today we remember and pay tribute to Private Vere Nelson Harvey. Vere Harvey was born on the 3rd of September 1892 to Edmund and Georgina Harvey of New South Wales. He was born on a property called Mile Grove in Nevertire. His father went on to become a grazier and property owner on the Macquarie River. Vere was initially schooled at home before attending the Manly Church of England Grammar School. He went on to work as a grazier, owning a property near Cobar called Coonabarra Station with his brother Arthur. In July 1915, Vere and Arthur enlisted in the Australian Imperial Force together. They were accepted for active service and entered camp to begin training. Less than a week later, Arthur fell ill. Over the next 3 weeks, his condition worsened, and on the 21st of August 1915, the 21-year-old died of bronchopneumonia and an associated heart condition. Vere Harvey continued in his training and was posted to the 18th Battalion. He left Australia for active service overseas on board the troop ship Euripides on the 2nd of November 1915. He was first sent to Egypt, where he spent what was probably a very worrying 2 weeks in hospital with pneumonia, before making a full recovery and rejoining his battalion training in the desert. Private Harvey had 2 close mates, Privates Dick Wilkins and Harry Bestwick, from his district, who had enlisted at the same time. The 3 made a solemn promise to each other that if one were killed, at least one of the others would write home to say what had happened. In March 1916, the 3 were sent to France to fight on the Western Front. Harvey was particularly interested in machine guns and had been trying for some time to transfer to a machine gun company. In June, he was successful, joining his brother's machine gun section. Shortly after its arrival in France, the 18th Battalion entered the front line in a quieter sector in order to gain valuable experience of battlefield conditions. On the 3rd of July 1916, Private Vere Harvey was in the front line near the French town of Bois-Grenier, standing on the fire step of the trench looking out into no man's land. As he turned to speak to his corporal, a bullet struck him near the back of his head under his steel helmet, killing him instantly. It fell to Private Dick Wilkins to write to Vere's father. He wrote, "Ever since we left Australia, Vere and I have worked on fatigue together, on guard, sentry, ate meals from the same mess tin, slept in each other's blankets. In fact, what was his was mine, and what was mine was his. And now it's ended. I feel the loss after nearly 12 months of constant friendship. He was always the same, straight, honest, cheerful. A heart as generous as his was true, a man's man, a good mate. I cannot put into words how deeply he is missed by us. While I sincerely regret his death, I feel proud to have had him for a mate, and I trust the knowledge of his manliness, steadfastness to duty, clean life and a clean record will help soften the blow to his mother, his family, his many friends, and yourself. I cabled home only a few days ago saying the 3 of us were well, and now I have written this. I must close, as I cannot write any more. Dick." Private Vere Harvey was buried in the Brewery Orchard Cemetery at Bois-Grenier, where he lies today under the words, "I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course." Vere Harvey was 24 years old. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my right, amongst more than 60,000 Australians who died whilst serving in the First World War. His photograph is displayed today beside the Pool of Reflection. This is but one of many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Private Vere Nelson Harvey, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Poziere or in the low scrub at Gallipoli with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his mind has thought, in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that concludes the last post ceremony. We thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial and wish you all a very good evening.